Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? So yeah, ever since Tim Bradley just put on this dominant performance, a magnificent performance against yet another top 5 pound-for-pound champion, Juan Marquez, you know, the world and the fans have been buzzing on what's next for Tim Bradley, and a lot of people are saying he deserves to fight Floyd Mayweather next, and I totally agree. That fight must happen. It must happen for both of these fighters, mainly for Floyd Mayweather. Okay? Now, this is how I see it. Floyd Mayweather, we all know, when it comes to Floyd Mayweather, I think regardless if you hate him, regardless if you love him, regardless if you give him all the credit in the world, regardless if you try to give him no credit, I think we can all agree right now that Floyd Mayweather is the best fighter of his era. Hands down, right? No one comes close. Now, he's the best fighter of his era, but Floyd Mayweather wants to be more than just the best fighter of his era. We all know he wants to be the greatest, if he's not already the greatest. But one way to really hammer that stamp of approval and be considered the greatest of all time by everyone is if you fight this man, Tim Desert Storm Bradley. It's amazing how history repeats itself in a certain way. But as far as I see it, Tim Bradley is Floyd Mayweather's Marvin Hagler. No doubt about it. Okay? The styles are not completely identical, but really all it is just a state of evolution. Okay? It's a Marvin Hagler style that has evolved to modern day Marvin Hagler. In other words, this is probably how Marvin Hagler will be fighting today. See, the thing is, what they have in common, Hagler and Bradley, is they're both aggressive. They both want the knockout. They're both aggressive fighters. All right? The difference is Marvin Hagler, he had more power. Tim Bradley, he doesn't have the type of power that Marvin Hagler has. Right? The other difference is Marvin Hagler, he doesn't have the foot movement. He doesn't have the natural athleticism that Tim Bradley has, right? So they both have certain things that the other one doesn't have. But at the end of the day, these are the modern day Hagler Bradleys, all right? Another thing that they have in common is Marvin Hagler, it took Marvin Hagler forever to get the respect from the boxing world that he believed that he deserved. Marvin Hagler was the middleweight champion for quite some time, and no one was really looking at him as like a real, legitimate middleweight champion. He didn't get the respect until he fought against Roberto Duran and beat Roberto Duran. And that's when I remember Hagler, he even asked Larry Merchant in the interview. So, you know, he was asking him, he said something, I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, you said I didn't prove anything before this. I didn't prove anything. What about now? What do you think about me now? So Hagler, he had to chase and he had to demand the respect that he believed he deserved for quite some time in his career. And so did Tim Bradley. Now I want to go ahead and get into the statements that Floyd Sr., he just made the other day in, regards to this potential fight ever taking place. This is what Floyd Sr. said. Quote, "It better be in the future, and he better try to make it last, because he's still got a gap on my son. That's a good generation gap he's got. He's 30 years old against a man who is 6 years older, but the man who is 6 years older is going to whoop his ass." End quote. So by hearing Floyd Mayweather Sr. make a statement like that, it suggests to me at least slightly that Team Mayweather, they may be interested in taking on this fight. You know, like I said, guys, this is a fight that must happen. For Floyd Mayweather's legacy, it has to happen. All right? This man, Tim Bradley, has completely proven himself. He has completely dragged himself out of the dark, and now he's back into the light. Everyone's moved him up in the pound-for-pound ratings. Everyone's moved him up to top 3, top 4. I was just watching Boxing Scene. They have it. They have him at number 4. They have Guillermo right in front of him. Basically, the top 4 that they have is Floyd Mayweather, Andre Ward, Guillermo Rigondeaux, and Tim Bradley. You know, as far as I'm concerned, Rigo and Tim Bradley, you could switch that either way. I don't have a problem with that. They're both on that level. They both beat, you know, a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. Only difference is I would say that, you know, Rigo's just a little bit more talented and gifted. But yet and still, back to the subject, this fight, it needs to fucking happen. Okay? Like going back to the Amir Khan situation, I made a video about that. I told you guys what I thought about that fight. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter to me. I don't even care if Floyd fights Amir Khan or not. As long as it's in the UK where it could be a 50,000 seat arena and it's something different that we've never seen before, I don't have a problem with that fight. I told you guys that, you know, I'm probably not going to pay for that shit. You know, it's not worth paying for. But at the same time, this is just Floyd Mayweather's vacation, going on a little vacation tour, exhibition type fight. And as soon as he whoops Amir Khan's ass, it's going to be right back to business. So it doesn't really matter to me if he fights him or not. But this fight against Tim Bradley, it must happen. It must happen for Floyd Mayweather's legacy. I mean, Tim Bradley, he has one of the best resumes, if not the best resume right now when it comes to current fucking champions today. I mean, Tim Bradley, he's beat them all. You're talking about beating Manny Pacquiao, Juan Marquez, an undefeated Luis Abregu, an undefeated Devin Alexander, an undefeated Lamont Peterson, a prime champion Kendall Hall, a prime champion Junior Witter. He beat Nate Campbell. And like I said, and when I go back to Marquez and Pacquiao, like I said, these guys were both considered top 5 pound for pound best fighters in the world when he beat them. Okay, so Tim Bradley's resume speaks for itself. Once again, this fight must take place. This is the type of fight that Floyd Mayweather really, really needs on his resume. And what makes this fight so intriguing, it is the style. Styles do make fights. And like I told you guys on many different occasions, the American slick style of boxing is the most difficult style to go up against. And this would be no different for Floyd Mayweather. This would be Floyd Mayweather's most difficult opponent in quite some time. You're talking about Floyd Mayweather fighting a guy who has a style that's almost similar to his if you go back and watch the Marquez fight. But the difference is Tim Bradley, he can mix it up. You know, he can stay on the outside. He can look pretty on you. But then he can also get in the inside and look rough and rugged. Bull, he could be a bull or a matador. And his matador skills are pretty damn impressive because he does everything with tip-top speed. You know, he doesn't go in the inside like a slow-ass Brandon Rios or Margarito. No. When he go inside, you know, aggressive, but with the speed of a slick fighter. So, you know, and he's a thinking fighter. So, you know, this is the type of guy that would give Floyd Mayweather a real fucking fight. So, I'm looking forward to, I'm hoping that this fight takes place after, Floyd Mayweather goes on his worldwide tour, if that's what you want to call it. Eventually, Floyd Mayweather, he's going to have to come back down to the real world and take care of this real business at hand. Okay? So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say on this one, guys. I'm on to the next one.